Okay, this is not. No fucking music today. I apologize for the profanity right off the bat because this has just been ridiculous. This last month and a half has been the most ridiculous football I have seen in all of my life from Philadelphia. This is almost as bad as the Carson Wentz era or towards the end of it. This is almost as bad, if not worse. If not worse. It's not even the fault of the quarterback. It's not the fault of the players even. You look at one thing and one thing only with this team as of right now. Nick Sirianni has got to get the fuck out of here. He's done. That was the most pathetic, putrid, anemic performance I have seen in a long, long time. And I feel like I said that last week. But at least then they were like, we got the playoffs for checking out, the regular season, whatever. This is the playoffs. Wild card. Monday night in prime time. Win or go home. And not only that, you just saw the Cowboys fold like a bunch of cheap fucking tents. And that's what you put out on the field. That's the performance you decide to bring on Monday night. Disgraceful. Absolute atrocity. No one player outside of Devonta Smith was ready to play that game. They had Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham showed some semblance of pride. Hell, in the second half, the defensive line tried to show some semblance of pride. But guess who's on the back end, ladies and gentlemen? You got James fucking Bradberry covering guys. Can't tackle for shit. Absolutely washed. Complete and utter disgrace. And you saw it on the sideline, in the stands. Hell, Jeffery, Laurie, and Howie Roseman were looking at this in complete awe at the unmitigated disaster that it was on Monday Night Football. And it's one thing to lose. Okay? Like, you lose a game, I'll hate it. I can live with a loss. Hell, Baker Mayfield. I'm a big supporter of Baker Mayfield. Big fan of his, the Muffin Man, longtime supporter. Always thought he could play. He showed he could play tonight, regardless of the freaking, Swiss cheese of a defense that is the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. He played great. But my God, this offense, this defense, this coaching staff looked so ill-prepared for the most obvious of situations. I'm telling you, I'm watching the game and I have family and friends texting me and they're like, didn't they just do this on the previous drive? And I'd say, yeah, that's because it's third down and long. Of course they're going to run a wide receiver screen. Didn't they run the same thing when they were going to blitz them? Yeah, of course they were going to run 4 vertical shots when they're obviously going to blitz you. That's the answer. My family and friends had no idea how bad it was with this play calling. They thought I was kidding. This is the most anemic and putrid job I have seen. This coaching staff, Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson, Matt Patricia, Sean Desai, everyone outside of basically Jeff Stoutland and Deuce Staley, if he's even, I don't even know. I'm so freaking, I can't even think of the other coaches right now. Outside of Statland University, everyone's got to go. They're done. This team has failed at such an epic proportional level. You need to tear the whole thing down. We re-signed James Bradberry last offseason. And that guy is a piece of shit player. Has no business being on a football field anymore. I love Avonte Maddox, but he's clearly done. Is injured every other damn day. He needs to go. You get nothing out of linebackers because you invest nothing in the linebackers. This offense. This offense. You know, this game at one point was 16-9. You were coming out of half, receiving the ball with a chance to tie the game. And they go 3 and out and basically shit the bed the rest of the second half. They scored 1 touchdown, and that's only because Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts had a Herculean play. A 56-yard bomb down the middle of the field. And you know when this game was truly lost? You know when this game was truly, truly lost? Was after that touchdown. They go for 2 at the 1 and fail the brotherly shove. And at that point, I wasn't even surprised that we didn't get it. As automatic of a play as it's been for us throughout the Sirianni tenure. I was not even surprised we didn't even get that. Because you know what? Quite frankly, this team quit. It was done. This team quit a few weeks ago. And I have been trying for a long time to hold on to some sliver of hope that we would show some pride because it's the playoffs. And you know what? For a moment, we did. When it was 16-9 at half, that was the moment where we had some pride. And it was up to the offense and Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson to come up with an answer to get back in the game. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Like it's been for the past 7 weeks, they had no answers for the most obvious of situations. And now, look, I was a defender of Sirianni and saying that you can't make a rash decision to fire the guy. But now, I can't think of a scenario where he comes back and the team has respect for the guy. In what world can you sit there and bring back Nick Sirianni as head coach? There is no way he should be allowed back in Philadelphia in that building. Every aspect of coaching since Shane Steichen has left the building has been an unmitigated disaster. Unmitigated disaster. And despite starting off 10-1, after going 10-1, you finish 1-5 in the regular season and then lay out this shit in a playoff game. They look ill-prepared. I don't give a shit that they were down A.J. Brown. I don't give a shit that they were down Reed Blankenship and some defenders. I don't give a crap. It was clear what you were supposed to do going into this game. And they looked like they had no idea what was in front of them. None. Nick Sirianni looked over his head. Brian Johnson just wanted to get the hell out of there. Matt Patricia looked out of his hair. And Jalen Hurts looked dejected. Dallas Goedert quit. You even saw it on the sideline, how pissed off he was when they couldn't convert the fourth down when they were in Bucs territory on their, in the end of the third quarter or whatever it was. An utter disgrace. And now I have to sit here for an offseason and figure out, as a fan, what the hell are we supposed to do? Left in absolute wonder of what we're going to do with this goddamn team. This year was a waste. You wasted the last year, potentially, of Jason Kelce's Hall of Fame career. One of the greatest Eagles of all time decided to come back for one more year to run it back because he felt there was a chance we can go back to the big game. If he knew he was signing up for this, he would have been done. He would have never have come back. If Fletcher Cox knew he was signing up for this, if Brandon Graham knew he was signing up for this, none of those guys would have come back. This was horrific. Disgusting on every level. The play design, the play calling, the situational understanding, the fundamentals, the tackling. Utter dog shit. It was so bad. You could put a ham sandwich on the goddamn sideline with the headphone and it'll call a better game than what Sirianni and Brian Johnson did. We're going to lean on our offensive line. You ran the ball 4 times in the first half. And you know what the funny part is? I watched the game in Dallas with Green Bay and, the Cowboys. And after I saw Dallas fold, I thought, hey, if Philadelphia just musters up a win for one night, we have the upper hand on Dallas on the year, at the very least. But no. It seems like everything about this team this year has just completely evaporated. They're a shell of themselves. They look lethargic. They look like they don't want to play. And some of these defenders, they're washed. I mean, it was just... And and like most Eagle fans weren't expecting much. I wasn't expecting much from this team. Really, really wasn't. But I mean, my God, I thought just one night we would look like a functional fucking football team. And all it did was clarify and punctuate and exemplify everything that Nick Sirianni has proven not to be. The guy can only lead when things are going perfectly. He is not a leader of men. He's not a guy that can galvanize troops. He is not a guy that can stop the bleeding. He's not a guy that can put a game plan together, which is unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate, especially because I've been someone who's defended him. But at this point, it's clear. This team, the players, the culture, it's shot. And Jeffery, Laurie, and Howie Roseman need to figure out who the hell to bring in. And there's a few guys out there who you could immediately bring in and they would immediately do a better job. Hire better coaching staffs, have better designs, have a better freaking game plan than what it was the past month and a half under Nick Sirianni and this regime. We let the smart guy, Shane Steichen, walk out the door. Let's make the right decision and let the idiot follow him out too. And bring someone else in before it's too late. Don't sit here and twiddle your thumbs and figure out whether or not you should bring the guy back. The guy is gone. He has to be done. There's no excuse for what you just saw in Tampa Bay. They made David Kanalis, who's an okay coach, look like Bill Walsh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. And now it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Because now we got to figure out what the hell are we going to do with half the players on the roster. How is Howie Roseman going to manage the cap? Because now he did a lot of manipulation of the cap for some of these players, and whoever's going to be gone is going to be taking a hit on our cap for us. So now I don't know what he's going to do. How is he going to address the draft? Will he finally invest in some linebackers? Will he finally invest in some young first-round defensive backs? Even though I like Ricks and Ringo and Blankenship and Brown, it's time to put some blue chip, investment into some of those other positions out there and figure out a new scheme for this defense to run and get a coach who can make a functional game plan for the goddamn Eagles. It's gotten so bad. Matt Patricia's on the sideline. You could have let his ass call the offense and have Desai run the defense, and I can guarantee you it would have been better than what we saw today. Hell, he did it in New England. I mean, oh, jeez. It's just... what a debacle. What an absolute debacle this was. And I don't even know what the hell you do going forward. There's a couple of guys who I believe you could hire that'll right the ship. But my goodness, you better get this right. You better get this right, because this is a really awful taste in the mouth of Philadelphia. Jeez, man. This is ridiculous. I'm disgusted. Even though I expected nothing of this team, I'm disgusted. Ugh. Listen, I got nothing else to say. I'm going to call it a night, because that was a really horrendous way to end a season. While it was tumultuous up and down, that's an awful, awful way to go out. A bunch of fucking failures. That's what that looked like on that football field. It looked like a bunch of guys who quit. And quite frankly, that is not how a team in Philadelphia has to go out. Jeez. Again, that's all I got to say about that. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, check us out on Instagram. All the links and stuff will be below in the description. With that, please take care of yourselves, and we'll see you back here next time for the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast.